Hi everyone, it's Jan from Jan Plans Things and welcome to my final Plan With Me video for 2018. So I thought I would round everything out this year with a little Christmas wreath with Humphrey sitting in the middle because after going through all of my my videos and comments, it seems that Humphrey is very popular. So I live to please, so he's living in the little Christmas wreath this week. I'm starting off by putting in some masking fluid first because I wanted a few small dots in the wreath. And instead of painting around it, I'm going to use the masking fluid, so it just makes it easier to get more even brush strokes. I'm also using some browns at the moment just to do the shading because I kind of want the overall look of this this spread to be quite warm. So I'm doing all of the pre-shading with browns instead. I'm also using a lot of, I'm just trying to mix my greens because I don't actually have a pure green in the limited set that I'm using for the Daniel Smith. The greens that I have in my Agallo colours are very lovely, but I want to change it up a little bit and use a little bit more pigmented colours for this week. So I'm using a phthalo green as well as mixing it with a gold and yellow colour just to give it that warmth. And in alternating greens, I'll be mixing a bit of blue inside as well, just to try and keep it within the same family. But I'm also trying to mix a large amount of green so that if I'm adding colours to it, it still has that same base. And that just helps it look a little bit more complementary as well. So it's been a big year for me in terms of journaling, I guess. I started journaling, I think, in July last year, and I didn't really take it super seriously until July this year, basically. And July this year is when I first started my YouTube channel. So I've been really lucky that you guys have been enjoying my videos, and I'm really appreciative of everyone who comes and drops by and leaves a comment and everything. And it does keep me going in terms of making them, because sometimes I wonder if anyone is watching, and you guys have always been so supportive. My Instagram has been fantastic this year, and the support there has been amazing. I think overall I've received 1.3 million likes on all my spreads, and I just can't thank you guys enough for all the support that you've given me this year. And I'm hoping that I can do something, I keep enjoying painting and drawing for next year as well. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break because I'll be overseas the next few weeks and I'm not bringing all my filming gear with me, but I'll probably be back with some February spreads maybe, and I might try and slip in a January setup video where I'll do the front pages of my Archer and Olive to show you how I actually set up a bullet journal for the new year. But I have really been enjoying chatting to everyone, so I'm really grateful for everything that you guys have commented over the last year. So I'm hoping that you can you'll enjoy your break as well and have a good little holiday period. Thankfully in Australia we get about 2 to 3 weeks off, and this year my office is breaking up for 3 weeks, so I've got a bit of a break which I'm really looking forward to. So this one, just on a quick note, while I'm painting with the greens, you can see like around the dots that I did the masking fluid before, it looks a little bit glowy because what I've done there is I've actually painted some water on in advance, and because when I paint around that water dot, it slowly seeps in and it creates that gradient effect, which makes some of the dots look like they're glowing. It kind of looks like I've tied a few fairy lights within it. I've decided to go with a yellow bow just to kind of warm it up a little bit on the spread, because I find that if you're using a lot of reds and greens, it can look very, because they're completely contrasting colors, it can end up looking quite muggy without something bright. So you've noticed me in the past leaving a lot of white space for roofs or something like that, or just using a lot of browns to kind of complement everything. And I tried actually not to use too many greens, but I felt like with a wreath I couldn't avoid it. So to do that, to kind of contrast with that, I've used a lot of large golds by using a large bow in this composition. And with the colors for the bow, I'm basically using the base yellow, and I'm diluting that with water for the first wash, and then as I build up the colors, I decrease the amount of water in the mix to use to kind of make it a little bit more opaque, and that's how I created the stripes. So it's all using the same pan of watercolor, but it's just different levels of dilution to get the darkness and lightness. And I am using a little bit of brown underneath to get that 3D look underneath the bow. So you can actually get quite a lot of colours out of watercolour, just depending on how much of the pigment you use within your mix. I always find greys actually quite difficult painting with, which is a shame because Humphrey is a grey cat. The main reason is because I mix my greys and on the Archer and Olive paper, and the same thing with the Leuchtturm as well, because of the way it is, it's not like watercolour paper where you can kind of just wash over the entire space and then put the colour on. You kind of have to paint it directly on, and it makes the grey a little bit streaky because it's a lighter colour. So in order to avoid that, I try and do really large areas really quickly so you don't get that overlap of the brush strokes on the cat. But that's a technique that I have to adjust for when I'm painting on the journal compared to when I'm painting on watercolour paper, where it's a lot more forgiving. And I'm having Humphrey just clutching a present box. I think if you've been following me for a while, one of my most popular spreads, actually it is my most popular spread because I checked it last week, was Humphrey holding a golden star in space. And I kind of just wanted to hark back to that one in this spread, with him clutching a Christmas present this time round instead of a golden star. So I've just going around now, and I'm using brown instead of black to outline the candy canes and a few of the ribbons, and that's because I want that as a I do want an outline because I found like it was a little bit too washed out just painting out like that, and the outline kind of cheats because you can kind of finish off a picture quicker, but I didn't want to use it black because it was too strong. Around the holly and everything, I'm just using a really pigmented green to go around it, and then I'm just using a dark grey, not black, dark grey, to go and do the strokes around Humphrey. This week I've done the dial design in the past, but I think this is like the first time in a while I've done like a proper circle, mainly because there's not that much. I'm hoping there's not a super amount of things to do this week. The other thing is I'll be adding a packing list mostly to my journal because of flying out. Tomorrow, actually, I'll be flying out tomorrow. So that's the main thing. I'm currently removing the masking fluid just with the back of my my paintbrush, mainly because I'm not using the eraser this time because I didn't want to erase the outlines that I needed to paint in, and some of the stars actually go to the edge, so if I erase them I might actually lose my spot on where I'm meant to be painting. So I'm using the Fine Tech or Coliro golds at the moment to do the interior of the stars and the moon, and I have them hanging from the inside of the wreath, and I'm also adding a little bit of the Holbein gold onto the top of the star just to kind of add that a little bit of gritty glitter to it. And I also washed down the Holbein gold and just put that a little bit across the ribbon, so during the week when I'm using the page you can kind of see the glitter catch the light a little bit. The Fine Tech one doesn't have that fine micro glitter in it. I would use that more if I want the more opaque gold leaf look. With the Holbein I do like mixing it with other paints because it just has that lovely luminescence to it. I'm using a white gouache at the moment, just adding a few little shinies on the holly berries and on the candy canes and give them that nice glossy look, and then that kind of fishes off a bit. But the problem is what I'm doing now is I'm just outlining the wreath, but I was looking and thought it was a little bit empty especially because I hadn't outlined the stars in the center and I didn't want to be using a really strong color there, so I actually decided to go back and paint the interior of that. What I'm doing now is with the outlining of the holly, it kind of just gives a little bit of depth, plus I'm adding a few little extra ticks inside the actual blank green areas, just kind of make it give the illusion that it's a big fluffy wreath with a lot of leaves inside. And now I'm really quickly just adding a little bit of blue to the center, so it kind of looks like a whole world inside the wreath instead. So kind of like a little window out with Humphrey sitting on the edge, kind of like a wreath windowsill, and I thought that looked really cute. I'm just adding a few little more like darker dots using the same pigment that I'm using as the wash, and then some white gouache stars as well. And then that meant that I could outline the moon with some white, and that looks quite lovely. And I'm just starting off by lettering on the right hand side for the dates this time instead of the left hand side, because the paint was a little bit wet. Still stuck my hand in it though. I should learn to be more patient. I tell you guys this like every other week. But that finishes off this spread. I hope you guys enjoyed my videos this year, and I'm looking forward to being back into it next year. But from me and my cat and my husband, I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas and Happy New Year. See you guys next time. Bye!